What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So first things first, I have to say thank you to everyone that has viewed my previous videos leading up to now. Once again, your love and support thus far has been amazing, and I can't thank you enough for it. So thank you so much for watching. So in my previous video, I explained how my sister and I and my brother-in-law, we moved out to Atlanta in January of 2016. And around that time, once again, I was starting to feel very, very bad. I was declining rapidly. And so it came to a point to where one Friday night, I believe it was either in October or November of 2016, my sister came into my room and she told me, "I'm taking you to the hospital." So we go out to the hospital. Of course, they draw my blood. They take a whole bunch of tests. And then a nurse or a doctor, I can't remember, comes into the room and informs me that I am HIV positive. So to most people, this diagnosis would be devastating. It would just be heartbreaking. In this case, it was not for me. It wasn't much of a surprise. And here's why. In the months leading up to this particular diagnosis, I had been Googling the symptoms of HIV. First of all, I knew that those who had HIV typically did have a pretty bad cough. Whenever you see it displayed on TV or on movies, that's exactly one of the signs that someone has HIV. So I knew that I definitely had that. Also, the other symptoms: extreme fatigue. I wasn't able to keep much food down. You know, as I stated in my last video, I was only able to eat maybe 2 or 3 bites of food, and then I would get extremely full. And so out of about 20 of the symptoms that I saw for HIV, I had probably about 15 to 18 of those. And also, another indication was in July of 2016, my grandmother had passed away. So, of course, we went to her funeral. And at her funeral, my cousin Tracy, she approached me. She's a nurse. Tracy approached me after the funeral and asked me, "Are you being safe out there in Atlanta?" And I knew exactly what she was saying. And I told her, "You know what? I have not been sexually active out in Atlanta. All I have time to do is work and eat, and sleep, and I don't have time for that." And which at that time was true. I was not sexually active while I was out in Atlanta. However, I did not go into further detail as to what my actions were prior to moving out to Atlanta. So once again, this diagnosis was not that much of a surprise to me. I'd already come to terms with it by the time that I had gotten the diagnosis. So they sent me home, and the next day I remember telling 3 people. I only told 3 people besides my family, who obviously knew. I first called my good friend, my best friend Lolita. I called her and I told her, she told me, "You know what? You're going to get through this. You're strong, and you're going to be okay." Next, I called my friend Kevin Simmons. I explained Kevin in my video about me coming to terms with my sexuality. He had the YouTube channel rather, called The Scorpion Show, and we had become extremely close. And leading up to 2016, I had been extremely active on social media. I was tweeting maybe 15 to 20 times a day. I was posting constantly on Facebook. Not that much on Instagram. I really don't take that many pictures that often. Even now, I really don't. But again, I was extremely active on social media. And as time had gone on, Kevin had been noticing that I had not been as active as I'd usually been. And Kevin was, asking me, "What's going on with you?" And I told him, "I'm good. It's nothing's going on at all." Of course, at that time, I didn't know that I was HIV positive, but I knew that I was not feeling like myself. So when I called Kevin, we both cried. That was probably the first time that I cried about it. We had a very emotional conversation, but, I told him, this is the reason why I haven't been that active on social media. And then I told my good girlfriend, Tamika. I met Tamika through Kevin in the Blog TVs, and, she's a fellow supporter of The Scorpion Show. And I told her, and, she said the same things along the lines of what Lolita was saying. "You're strong, you're fine, you're going to get through this." Later on that day, my sister had come into my room and she found me on the floor. I'd had a absent seizure, which means a loss of consciousness. So it's not a seizure where you're shaking and, doing all that. And so I had lost consciousness. And so she took me back to the hospital. And once again, they gave me some fluconazole and then they sent me home. And Jennifer was not having that. So she called my parents And she told them, you guys need to come get Jonathan because he's not going to do well here at home. He's not going to do well at all. So my parents came and got me that Sunday, and they took me back home. And I remember actually sleeping on the couch because my bed that was in my room in Columbia was actually in Atlanta. So that Monday morning, my sister called my mother, and she told her that she had gotten a call from the hospital saying that there was fungus growing in my brain and I needed to be admitted to a hospital immediately. So I woke up and my mother was sitting at my feet, and she said, Jonathan, I've got to take you to the hospital. Something serious is going on with you. So we went to the hospital. I remember laying on the stretcher in the hallway, and this nurse came and talked to me, and she was asking me random questions. I really can't remember exactly what she was asking me, but then eventually they moved me into this room. Now, it wasn't your regular hospital room. It seemed like it was more of a large closet. Because they were trying to identify whether they need to put me into ICU or have me in a regular hospital room. So a doctor eventually came in and started asking me some questions. Again, I don't know what the questions were. And in the middle of that conversation with that doctor, I had another absent seizure. I just lost consciousness. And that doctor said, he's going to ICU. So I went into the ICU. To describe my visual state, I was gaunt. At my lowest weight, I was 108 pounds. And those who know me know that I'm 6'2", and 108 pounds does not look good on a 6'2" frame. So I was this close to dying. And if I had probably not been admitted to the hospital when I did, I probably would not have lasted another couple of months or so. I probably would have died at the age of 27. So that's what happened in 2016. So in my next video, I'm going to let you know what my recovery was like, how the years have gone on, in 2018, 2019, because I honestly don't remember too much of 2017. It's really more of a blur at this time. But I'll let you guys know how I went from being close to death to being where I am now. Thank you guys so much again for watching. Until next time.